Hello everyone, Matthias Key here, coming to you from the year 2024, reading Ancient Prophecies of the Mahdi, the Book of Revelation as prototype for the Islamic end-time Hadiths. We've reached the sections titled K25, Famine and Death upon a Fourth of Men under the Beast's Rule, and H25, the Dajjal curses enemies or blesses followers by his miracles. Revelation. After the overthrow of Babylon, the beast and his 6 closely allied kings consolidated political and military power into their hands. But in the previous section, they were unable to bring the peace and well-being they promised. Instead, war begets war. The rationing system based on the mark of the beast merely determines who will first succumb to the famine that quickly spreads across the world. The awful hunger is heralded by the opening of the 3rd seal of Revelation's scroll. It reveals a rider on a black horse. He carries aloft the scales of scarcity. Jesus' followers are already scapegoats for the famine, because they refuse the mark of the beast and its privilege of buying and selling. This diverts everyone's attention from the true cause of the famine. It is in reality a man-inflicted situation, permitted by God as judgment upon Babylon and those who inherit her remains. In the vision, the 4th seal is opened soon afterward. It reveals a rider on an ashen horse who brings death. Famine and death have been inseparable throughout history. With this wave of deaths, the abomination of K24 now gives way to desolation. Daniel 9:27. On the wing of abominations will come the one who makes desolate, until a complete destruction, one that is decreed, gushes forth on the one who makes desolate. A 4th part of all people die in these calamities of famine and war. This is at least 25% of the world's population, billions of men, women, and children. Among them are many who have realized their allegiance to the woman or the beast was wrong. Instead, they now trust their eternal lives to Christ. There are more among the dead who oppose the beast for other reasons. Still others are civilian victims of war. During this great tribulation, God allows Satan to reach another height of power. Satan does not bring peace and tranquility. Even if he were able, he's unwilling to do so. Instead, it is a time of continuous war, famine, and death. Though he uses various intermediaries to tempt men and women to forsake God, his real goal is to do away with as many billions of them as possible. If he is successful, he and his legions of fallen angels will never be threatened by those created in the image of God and of Christ. Satan can then sideline God and achieve his ultimate goal of becoming effective ruler of the universe. The Hadiths. In the previous section, Allah sent IsaIbnMaryam from heaven back to earth. Isa cemented the Mahdi's empire by organizing the concerted effort to slay all infidels, including Jews and Christians. At the same time, he carries out his duties as a just judge and a just ruler to all Muslims. For them, he ushers in a silver age of plenty. Even the animals will stop fearing their predators. The wolf will be among the sheep like their sheepdog. The earth will be filled with peace, just as a vessel is filled with water. The people will be united and none will be worshipped except Allah. Despite this, in upcoming sections, the wars of the Mahdi will continue. For example, we shall see battles will take place under his command, and Islam will be victorious. The Hadiths are a dialectic of simultaneous war and peace. How can this be? The answer lies with the chief end-time enemy of the Mahdi and IsaIbnMaryam, the Dajjal. So far, in our Hadiths timeline, deduced by reconciling with the vision of Revelation, we saw that before Dajjal appears, there will be 3 difficult years in which the people will suffer severe famine. He then took advantage of the hunger to appear in my community, and he would stay for 40 days, 40 months, or 40 years. He then attracts many weak people who cannot cope with food shortages by commanding the sky to rain, and it will rain, and he will command the earth to produce vegetation, and it will do so. We already discussed how those earlier events regarding the Dajjal will likely occur during the time of the temporary alliance between the Romans and the Mahdi. We also saw that after the Mahdi turns against the Romans and savages their army, that it will be at the conquest of Constantinople when the Dajjal, the Antichrist, comes forth. He will no longer be a secondary character. The Dajjal will displace the Romans as the Mahdi's foremost enemy. Now that Isa has come on the scene, the Hadith in our current section tells us that the Dajjal will ramp up his temptations. In this way, he gains new followers around the world. He will bring trouble to people who will deny him, and all their animals will die. But he will benefit those who believe him, and he will command the sky to rain and the earth to flourish, so that on that very evening their herds will become very fat and large, but their flanks distended and their udders full of milk. Though the rule of the Mahdi and Isa brings about the Silver Age, the unwanted presence of the Dajjal requires ongoing war until he is destroyed. In the second hadith of this section, Muhammad gave the future Muslims a simple antidote against the temptations of the Dajjal. It is to memorize the first 10 verses of Surah 18 of the Quran, SurahAlKahf. The key verse to always dwell on is Surah 18:4. It gravely warns against the idea of God having a son. To believe in that will result in one's eternal doom. The fact that Muhammad connects these 10 verses with the Dajjal shows that the Dajjal will masquerade as this odious son of God. He is therefore to be opposed with all levels of violence. In the Hadiths, it is interesting that both Isa and the Dajjal display miraculous powers. Isa descends from heaven. The Dajjal does miracles to materially advance his followers. Each one also brings calamity on their enemies. They're not merely men who have risen to positions of high influence. Each is actually linked to a spiritual overworld, one of good, the other of evil. In the Hadiths, Isa is regarded as supremely virtuous, for he enforces the will of Allah. The Dajjal is strikingly wicked. He champions the cause of the intransigent infidels among the Christians and the Jews. Comparison. In Revelation, the great famine begins soon after the beast overthrows the woman of Babylon, at the midpoint of the 7 years. It is the product of the beast's policies, permitted by God Most High as a judgment upon rebel humanity. The followers of Jesus are blamed for exacerbating the shortages. They're put to death in large numbers. In the Hadiths, a great end-time famine already occurred in the 3 years before the Dajjal arrived. The famine was at Allah's command to test the faith of his people. It happened during the time of the Mahdi's military alliance of convenience with the Romans. In this section, the Dajjal has come on the scene. He becomes an object of alternative faith that opposes Allah. He curses those who curse him and miraculously causes their animals to die. Thus he brings famine upon some who are committed to following the Mahdi. In the Hadiths, the Dajjal becomes the scapegoat for hunger that is caused by others. The Mahdi has defeated the Romans and now has the Dajjal as his chief adversary. The Muslims then launch a new series of wars against the Dajjal's followers and other pockets of opposition. It seems that the Mahdi is absolved of any responsibility for famine because hunger is not mentioned in the Hadiths of future sections. Only the material well-being of his people is described. But undoubtedly both hunger and death will be a product of these wars. Famine that is caused by the wars of the Mahdi serves as a false flag operation that discredits the Dajjal even more. In Revelation, the Christians are the scapegoat. In the Hadiths, it is the Dajjal, who is defender of Christians and Jews. In this way, the Hadiths are a pale reflection of the Bible. The Hadiths offer the strange character of the Dajjal as an object of alternative faith that opposes Allah. In Revelation, instead of trusting the beast, up to the very end, God still offers all men and women the opportunity to put their faith in Jesus Christ. Jesus promised this to everyone, past, present, and future. Matthew 5, 6, and 10. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. If you have found this video helpful, then please click the like button. I also invite you to subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon to get notifications when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching.